Hello, Namaste. I am Bhumi Raj Pandit from Nepal Open University, the second semester students of the second batch. Uh, Today I'm going to present a lesson on the topic translation aesthetics, and this presentation is based on the article written by Levy. Uh, in the beginning, I will talk about creative production, and under the topic translation aesthetics, Levy has talked about translation as an art form. And while talking about the translation as an art, mm, Levy brings the context of Ottokar Fischer, who in 1920 defined translation as an activity at the interface between science and art. So, though translation does not have long history, uh, in the early 20th century, Ottokar defined translation as science and art. Likewise, linguistic equivalence is translator's preoccupation. The artistic dimension is to be focused. Secondly, it is also an issue of discussion. People, some of them focus on an artistic dimension, whereas some other people talk about linguistic equivalence. Likewise, by using all the artistic means of the target language, a translator substitutes one set of verbal material uh, for another, which entails autonomous creativity of him or her. The translation is not just one-to-one translation or literal translation, what the original author has written, but it is something, the mixture of the translator's mind. Translation as a work of art is artistic reproduction. As a process is original creation, and as an art form is a borderline case of the interface between reproductive art and original creative art. So here the term reproductive art and original art are used there. So we will talk about them here. Reproductive art, it means the former draw on the products of the latter. For example, the original work of art belongs to conceptual art, while its translation is an artistic reproduction. We have to just focus on this particular point, so to see the differences between these two things. Likewise, in 3.1.2, the dual norm in translation, Levy talks about the following things. The basis of translation aesthetics and critique is the category of value. Likewise, two norms are applied in the evolution of reproductive art. The reproduction norm means the requirement to capture the original faithfully, and the artistic norm, the requirement of beauty. Both of them need to be maintained while translating our source language text into another. So while translating, a translator should maintain fidelity, veracity. Likewise, identifying reality with art would result in naturalism. In the same way, technically speaking, in translation practice, this basic aesthetic antinomy is manifested as the contradiction between so-called translation fidelity and freedom, whether whether to translate it just being confined within the rules and norms, or just to translate it as if we are free. Likewise, an actor actress, after makeup, how he or she gets ready for acting and beautiful they look, has the same impression of art in translation. So just it is a good example, right? An actor or actress, just in normal life, how do they look, and how they look for for shooting, or let me say for a film, when they are being visualized. Likewise, the emotive structure of the work, the beauty or artistic excellence, the aesthetic value of the translation are to be maintained in translation. Likewise, stylistic and emotional exhibitionism, showing off one's linguistic skill and a sentimental intensification of emotive effects cannot be considered aesthetic values. Right? Some of the people who might have thought that stylistic and emotional exhibitionism also come under it, but actually they don't come there. Likewise, the frequent repetition of a syntactic pattern or emphatic words as a style of Charles Dickens today is called stylistic primitivism. And just a style also should be maintained there. Translators are less artistically gifted than the author. Just we have a saying that if we are capable enough, we write ourselves. If we are not much capable, then we translate it. And even if we are not much capable to translate, then we read the translated version of the original text. So here, translators are less artistically gifted than the author. Not all liberties are aesthetically of equal significance. So yes, even though we are free enough, um, we cannot just think like that of the original writer. Under the same topic, translation aesthetics, there is another subtopic, the hybrid nature of translation. Translated text is viewed as a composite hybrid configuration. So the term hybrid is used here. We will describe it here. There is semantic content and the formal characteristics of the source language text. Likewise, there is the entire system of artistic features specific to the target language contributed by the translator. Some proper names can have equivalents in the target language, but some others not. So the result of translation will be jumble of source language text and target language text. The heart symbol, just for example, is replaced by a different physiological symbols like liver or stomach or throat if we go to different parts of the world. On the topic, the ambivalent relationship with the original literature, Levy talks about the following things. Translatability may become one of the translation's aesthetic value. Not all texts, not all words, idioms, or proverbs are translatable. Likewise, translated work becomes part of the literature written in the target language. Its culture function is similar to that of an original work of domestic literature. So a translated work becomes part of the literature. Means, so when translated work comes into the target place, it becomes the source of literature, or let me say source of culture, or something like that, and it plays the role like that of the one produced in the same place. Thank you for listening and watching the presentation. I welcome feedbacks, suggestions, and queries if there are. Okay. Thank you very much. We will see next time in the next video.